All right. Good afternoon. We just came off of a webinar today, and we're going into overtime. We're going to ask Travis Vaughn. Travis, for those that are listening for the first time, tell us your role here.
Yep, director here at Upward Sports, oversee market research, product development, and marketing, where I get to work with you.
Yes, perfect. And I'm Jennifer McCraw. I work in the marketing partnerships area here at Upward. So we just came off a webinar and we have a lot of questions that did not get to be answered. So we wanted to take about 15 to 20 minutes here today and answer those with Travis, and then we're gonna send these out. Let's jump in. You ready?
Yeah, an hour wasn't enough. Let's do a few more.
That's right. Here we go, Travis. Let's get ready. This question, and there's no order, says, does my church need to have a ministry of this type established already to become involved?
Absolutely
Great
not.
question.
Absolutely not. Here's an interesting stat. The last 2 years, we've signed about 230 new
Yeah.
churches each year of the last 2 years to do sports ministry, and almost all of them were not running a sports ministry when they came to us. And so lots of people see this ministry as something that they can implement at their church, something that gets new volunteers involved at their church that maybe wasn't in the past. A lot of dads and moms that aren't in the nursery or aren't teaching Sunday school or aren't doing different ministries around, but they will be involved in the Upward ministry, and they get involved here. And so all it takes is one great leader to get this thing started with a great vision as to what they can do, and the energy to go out and make it happen. So, yep, if you're not doing it today, great, we'll teach you how to do it.
That's right. Well, what about this question? Because this was on the webinar. There is already an Upward Sports presence in my community, and I am wanting to start Upward as well. What do I do?
I think a couple things come to mind. One, we have ministry consultants on staff that can help walk you through what that might look like in your area. But in reality, we have churches all over the country, and lots of them are in the same town, in the same area. They run, similar programming. They might switch off different sports. They might switch off different seasons. They might run it at the same time. I mean, there's lots of kids that play sports, and there's no reason to say that more of those kids can't play Upward Sports
Absolutely.
in the future. You were telling me not too long ago about someone that was real close
Yeah.
together. What was that?
It was our community hero for this month. Russell, Kentucky,
Mhm.
First Baptist Church in Russell, and Bridges Christian Church. They're 2 miles. And so one has a gym and one has a field space, and they both want to run Upward, and they both want to serve their community. So they work together, and they go to one church for one sport and one church for the other sport. So that's a unique way to do it.
And I started it with this. The ministry consultant has such a great view of what's
Absolutely.
going on in their states that they kind of look over, in individual areas within those states, and would just be able to walk you through that. They probably know that leader that's already running something, and could put you in contact if that makes sense, or help guide you through that. So that's, I think, an advantage of what we offer as a national organization doing youth sports.
Absolutely. I think that's what sets us apart too as a ministry partner, is we work with you guys. All right. What about, how do we make connections with schools for their facilities in the event we don't have facilities on campus at our church?
I wish that the video was done.
I know.
But I was with David, who is on our staff here, and we did a video with a leader named Tim Sparrow.
Yes.
Tremendous leader up in Delaware, that runs a very large league. How many players in that league? You remember? 500 or so players in the league. And so, but they don't have a gym, and that's how many they run in their basketball league. And they work exclusively with schools in their area.
Multiple schools.
And so I think they're using about 6 or 7 different facilities. We went and shot a video because it's such a cool story to tell. And we shot videos with superintendents and principals and janitors.
Mhm.
We did with Tim and his wife and some other people there at the church. And so in about a month, when we get finished editing this thing, we'll be able to send that out, and people can see how they go about it in their situation. But a lot of churches don't have the facility, whether that be a gym or a field space. But if you get the right leader who has a vision for it and is a good connector, I think that's a key feature there, that you need to be. But if you find that right person, then the door will come unlocked if it's meant to come unlocked. And so schools can be a great place, rec centers or rec fields can be a great place at times. Other churches can be a great place to run that programming. And so I think we see it all over the country
That's right.
where people don't have the perfect situation with as far as fields or courts and they make it happen.
I would say don't let that be the reason you don't do sports ministry. Have a conversation with us and let's talk about it. There may be somebody in your community that has contacted us that says we have a facility and we just can't run sports at this point due to unknown reasons. So that's a great way. All right, we had this on the webinar, several different questions about it. With the cost to run Upward Sports at your church. So this one says, my biggest concern is the cost to offer sports. Many kids and families struggle to have money to play sports. How do we go about that?
Yeah, I think that cost is something that we pay close attention to here. Try to keep our costs down for all the participants. We see Upward as a self-sustaining ministry. Don't try to say that too many times in a row fast, but ultimately what pays for the ministry there at your church is the registration fees that players are going to pay. And so even in pretty economically depressed areas, there's an expectation that if you're playing a sports experience, you have to pay something to be a part of that. And so one of the great things that we have with our programming is we let you build the package that's best for your situation and your community. And so if you need to have a smaller package as far as the type of uniform you have or some of the products that you offer, you need to limit that. You can certainly do that. Then we're going to provide you all the things digitally that you would need to register kids, train up volunteers and coaches and all the different types of people that you would need. And still have a very intentional and first-class program there at your church. And you can do that at a lower price point if that's what you need to do. So we believe that we equip you wherever you are for whatever situation that you might be in to run a great sports ministry.
I love that.
And really, again, the kids that are participating in the program will pay the fees that are associated with the program. And in the end, it should be a no hit to your budget or a very small hit to any type of budget at the church. That's just how it happens all across the country.
And it's customizable. So you pick and you choose what goes into your package based off of your budget or your community needs. Okay, Travis, what size group is needed to start a program at our church? So I think they're saying, how many people do we need to lead this thing out?
I think you need one really great leader.
Okay.
The more you have, the better. The more it's going to take off of that person. But the essential thing is you have one vision casting, great connecting leader. That's the essential part. If you feel like I've got to have all the coaches set before I start, I got to have all the volunteers set, I got to have all my game day figured out before I set, you'll never start it. It just will never happen. Those people will come. They're going to be the parents of the players. They're going to be the people within your church that are passionate about sports, that want to make an impact for Christ and their community. That's where these people are going to come. But you have to have that first vision setting leader that can go and make all this happen and get this stuff going. And so that's what I would say. I mean, you could chop it up other way. So another way I could answer that is say, you could chop up your season a couple different ways and try to assign some key people at your church, different areas. So you might have someone that oversees advertising. And so the preseason thing of getting players to sign up, and maybe that's getting things into schools to let the kids know about it, and you get it at some restaurants around the community, letting people interact with promo cards or posters there. Again, we provide all these things for you. Then you might have someone that is in charge of game day operations, and so they're there to open up the doors, make sure things are cleaned before and after. They're there to answer questions. If parents have questions on game days, you might have someone else that kind of handles that on practice nights, things like that. You might have an admin type person that is handling drafting of teams and the questions that might come in from emails from parents. But all of that is a luxury in some cases, and it's kind of dependent upon the size of the league. For most first year leaders and situations, one really great leader can be all you need.
So if you find them, bring them and we'll help train them.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's great. All right, Travis, you go all around the country and you talk to churches as well. What sport do you see the most success in reaching middle school, it says, or school age kids? Where do we start? What sport?
That's like picking your favorite child. How are you supposed to do that there? I think I'll go back to the previous question of finding the right leader. You find the right leader that's passionate about a
Agree.
specific sport, and that's a sport you should do. So if that person's crazy about basketball, or if you guys have a basketball gym that is already there and that's a natural place to start, then great. That person was a former volleyball player and they want to do that, then that's your sport.
Yeah.
All these things can be very successful. And we have countless experiences across the country where we could show you where every one of these sports has been very, very successful. It all starts with that leader. It all starts with the passion and the vision that they bring. And then somewhat it depends on, what type of opportunities are really good for your community, whether that be a gym that you have access to or a field that you have access to, those types of things. But all those sports are going to be something that can be successful for you.
And I would also piggyback on that to say, when you come through and have conversations with our onboarding consultants, they can also look at your community and see what is currently there. Maybe there's 4 or 5 soccer leagues. Maybe you don't want to do soccer. Maybe you want to do something different to attract other kids if there's already 4 or 5 soccer programs in the area. So we've talked about how to find our facility. If we don't have one, if you have one, you've got a unique resource, utilize it. We've talked about the cost. So what about this? This question says, after you become a partner, how do we even access training materials?
I'm going to go back to one thing you said first, and then I'll answer that question.
Which one?
The unique situation of having a gym or field.
Yes.
I was at a conference in New York City last fall, and this wasn't a sports ministry conference. This was a sports conference, and you had 2,000 leaders of sports organizations in there. And what did they all desperately need? Fields and courts. And our churches across the country, are able to fill that need in their communities. And there's a lot of other churches out there that have these facilities or these fields out there that they could provide sports ministry that would be the absolute envy of tons of other sports organizations out there. So you might be in that situation if you're listening to this call and say, I've got a court and it gathers a lot of dust. I mean, think about what that could be as far as a gospel sharing opportunity there in your community. So that was one thing you noted that I wanted to mention there. But the question was,
tell me about the training materials. After I become a partner, where do I get training materials?
2 things, really. We have tons of resources for you to learn from league director manuals to coach playbooks to just lots of resources that'll walk you through every single scenario you could possibly encounter as a league director, a coach, a game day volunteer, any of these types of things. So our resources could do that. We've got some videos out there that'll help teach you through that, those things, if that's a better way for you to consume that knowledge. But the other great thing that we do, we started this a few years ago, which is to have a first-year consultant walk you through that first season. They're going to be with you all along the way. They'll be able to give you just-in-time information about, at this point in time, you need to be doing this. Your next big goal is going to be this. You need to learn how to do this before you can put on an evaluation, for an example, or something like that. And so that's a piece that we provide to really teach you to run a first class and intentional sports ministry in your community. And so that person will be assigned to you and you'll be good to go.
That's great. I've got about 4 or 5 more questions for you. All right, well, this is a good one. What materials do you offer me?
The league director,
Correct. When I'm
okay,
starting this league, what materials do you offer me?
there's a league director manual
Mhm.
that is extensive. And
Yes.
this thing is poured over by our development team each year. So not only are we going to take market research that we learn each year, surveys that we do, one-on-one conversations that we have with leaders, and implement the best practices into that. There's 28 years of experience and knowledge that we've gained to help build this league director manual there. So that's going to be an all-encompassing piece there. But I'm going to guess there's 30 to 40 more
I agree.
PDF resources and things like that to help guide you through the rest of that leadership of your league. And that's going to be all phases of the program, from things that help you learn to advertise, register, do evaluations, hold great practices,
Yep.
do ministry within your league, do end of season celebrations, if that's something that you want to incorporate into that. The knowledge is quite extensive. There's a lot of times on my team where we talk about, do we need this? This feels like it's too much. And then the moment we say that, someone starts asking for, where is that
That's
thing?
right.
So all that's going to be in your My Upward system. Once you have access to that and you become a partner, you'll be able to log in and access all of these things. And then, your first year ministry consultant can help point you in directions if you can't find what you're looking for.
That's great. And one thing I love is you're not just given all this material, you set up the league that you're running. If you're offering soccer, you set your soccer league up, and then it unlocks all the resources based off of just that sport. So you're not having to sort through each sport as well. And then we do have the drafting software, which is phenomenal, as well as you talked about the app. So we have you covered. Our goal here is to be your one-stop shop so that you can focus on ministry while we focus on giving you the admin materials that you need. All right. So Travis, how do we get our church motivated? This person says, I am a passionate leader and I'm excited to start sports, but how do I motivate my congregation for such a commitment?
It's a great question. And I don't think we need to make this too complex.
Nope.
If you are the right vision setting leader, passionate leader, then you just need to bring that passion to your congregation and they'll come along with you. I think that's where it comes to.
Yes.
It'd be great if you get the senior pastor involved and talking about it from the pulpit as well. But I've been a leader of a sports program in the past. You have as well. And I think when I've had success with it, you can talk about your experience as well, and just all the leaders I've talked to across the country. If you get the right leader who's passionate about it and wants to make it happen, it will happen because people will come along, because it's such a great thing for their church to be an outreach, to not just be sitting there, but part of the congregation, but be an outreach to the community. One thing I haven't even mentioned here today, but 50% of the participants that do Upward Sports each year, all of our surveys show this, and it's year over year. 50% of the participants are unchurched or don't go to the church that they're a part of. And so you're getting to impact tons of participants and their families as part of this program. It works. It's worked for a long time. And if you can kind of, bring that passion and vision, the congregation will come along with you. That's what I believe. Anything you'd add?
I think I would look at the question too, like if it's motivating the congregation to serve, then I would say that is a great way that the pastor needs to probably promote that from the pulpit. I'm sure all of your pastors probably from the pulpit talk about being outward focused and serving your community. So I think I would look at that question that way, to really lean on the pastor to help around the point of service. Don't let Upward be a siloed approach to what the mission of the church is. So I definitely would say that make sure they're aligned. In regard to motivating the congregation of like, we're doing sports ministry, everybody on board, I agree. Everybody, you have to be passionate about it, and then go find a couple other people in the church that can be, and all you have to do is help them understand sharing the gospel. Once you, as a church, are rallied around sharing the gospel and can see that sports is a great way to get you in front of families that don't know Jesus, I think that the spark is just natural because it's a common goal for sure. All right, 3 more questions. What are your basic requirements to become an Upward Sports partner? Basic requirements.
Can I turn this one back on you?
Yeah. Do you want to take a stab first, or do you want me to take a stab?
Basic requirements, you gotta have a great leader. We do have a statement of faith that we ask churches to sign off on. So we make sure that we are in alignment as far as beliefs, ministry beliefs there. Our onboarding reps would be able to walk someone through the specifics of what it takes to become an upward partner. But as you mentioned, I think earlier, there's no annual fees or things like that we charge as part of our programming. You're essentially paying for the products that we provide and the systems and the intangible resources we provide as part of a package, and then that is paid for by the registrations of the players in your league. Again, self-sustaining program here, but it's a pretty simple process, and someone here on our team would be thrilled to walk you through that.
Yeah. I would also say requirements are, you're a church. We need to partner with the church. Sometimes we have people that come in and say, hey, I have a team and I just want to bring my team over. So we do partner with the local church to serve your community. So I would say that is like a requirement. Other thing that you mentioned is the ministry agreement. You need to read through our ministry agreement and make sure that you can sign off on that, because as much as you are a ministry partner, we are your ministry partner as well. It is not that you have to have a gym or a field. You just need to have access to that. And you just need to know that you need to have that league director or someone or that leadership individual that can lead this out so that we can work with them. When I'm having social media consult calls, I make sure that we're not just selling you a car and you walk away with it. We're your partner, and we really want to make sure that you are successful for the purpose of sharing the gospel. So I would say that's another requirement, that you are using this ministry to share the gospel.
Yep.
I think anything else?
Well said. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, 2 more. Do I have to provide my own sports curriculum, or does Upward Sports provide the curriculum?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We provide all the curriculum that you would need throughout the program, from training on the front end to the actual specifics of practice plans, skills and drills, videos to teach coaches how to do those things, devotion material, halftime devotion materials. There's a piece that we do now. It's called the Scouting Report.
Love it.
And we added that last year, where a coach before practice can read through what the devotion is really about, do some extra digging into the Bible as to what this means, and that way they can even better provide this devotion once they get to practice there, and learn some things on their own as part of that process. So we provide all the materials, ministry and sport related, and we'll be able to equip you in that way.
That's great. All right. I'm not going to ask this one. It's about being affordable for low income. You just talked about that. You get to create your own package based off of your community and your church budget. Let's see.
As it relates to that, I mean,
Yeah, go
another
ahead.
comment. We want to work with all churches out there, and there's always unique situations. And if it's something that goes beyond the basic setup of what we do, then voice that as part of your conversations with an Upward team member, and we'll see what we can do to help you. We don't want to miss an opportunity out there as it relates to sports ministry.
Absolutely. We talked about this on the webinar, but I think for this recording purpose, the overtime, if someone's listening to it and didn't listen to the webinar, this question's great. It talks about the approximate number of players to run a successful league. What does that look like? And then the other question is, how do I even go about knowing what grades to start with?
Yeah, as far as the number of players, 40 is a number that I've always had in my mind. It varies a little bit by sport. And so you really need to work with one of our team members
Mhm.
to kind of talk about, well, 40 players in kindergarten through 8th grade is not enough. That's too large of an age group. You got too many spread out there. So working with someone to say, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? What do you see that has worked in the past? 40 being a pretty minimal number there that can work for a successful first season and something that you can build off of there. But we have other churches that, surpass that and then some in their first season. So I just think it's one of those things that it just comes down to each unique situation and what you're trying to do as to what that number might be. And even the sport helps vary what that number might need to be.
That's great. So we're wrapping it up here, and I'm going to end with one question. So maybe you've been listening to this entire webinar before this, and then now you're listening to these questions. Hopefully you have walked away knowing that Upward Sports desires to support the local church to further the gospel. 1. Number 2, Upward Sports is the ministry of choice that a lot of churches are using right now to reach their community. And then number 3, we want to be a turnkey solution where you're able to use our materials from start to finish, onboarding, registration, the coach app, the drafting software, the gospel materials. We also have a gospel library. I know there's so much information we could share, but don't want to overwhelm you. Everything that we provide from start to finish is to allow you to be in the field serving families, and then letting us be, I guess, behind the scenes, powering you to do that. Anything else you would add, Travis, before I ask the last question along the line of what a partnership with Upward Sports truly looks like to a church?
Yeah, I think it's a true partnership. We are there to make you successful and to make you look like a rock star. They make you look like you
Correct.
have thought of everything and are providing really high products and really great devotions and a proven strategy in sports ministry that we've done for a long time here. We're there to equip you to do that in your community. And we need you, that's where your part in this. We need
Agree.
you to say yes to starting a new sports ministry in your community and to running that program. But if that's something that is appealing to you, that you're interested in, that you feel like God's leading you towards, it happens all the time. We can help you get that sports ministry going and run it very effectively.
Regardless of your church size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. There was one question on here earlier about a smaller church. I'm afraid I can't run it because it's a smaller church. That's okay. We have a church in Deatsville, Alabama that would tell you 30 in their congregation, and they serve well over 30 players in their league.
I think it's 100.
120 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the stat? 76% of coaches last year were outside of the church. So you can utilize your community to help you in regard to filling coach position and volunteers. It doesn't just come from your congregation as well.
Now,
Yep,
some people might take that the wrong way.
I know.
These are still Christian coaches
Correct.
that have the ability to give devotions at
That's correct.
practice.
They may go
and
to
things
another
like that. They
church.
might go to another church.
That's
and so
exactly right.
your church will get the benefit of having good Christian men or women, being coaches
Yes.
in your league there. Yeah.
Good point. One thing we didn't hit on is apparel.
Hmm.
I see it behind us.
Hmm.
And can you explain about, we are not just the sport provider as skills and drills. We're not just the ministry provider, but we also have these awesome things behind us.
All right, since
Tell a
you
little
do,
bit.
I'll show you one of these. So this is it's one of our soccer jerseys that would be available if you run a soccer league next year. It's not out in the public yet, but
Awesome.
this is one side of it. So this is based on like an Austin FC MLS jersey. And then on the other side over here, it's based on the Houston
Love it.
Dynamo front. So, I mean, just really high quality sublimated jersey that this is printed through what's called a sublimation machine. It'll never peel, it'll never crack, it'll never fade. It is in the fabric itself. It's stretchable, it's very breathable, it's high performance material. And so we've got one of those for each one of the sports. And so like I see a Chiefs and Jags jersey over here. I see a Spurs and Celtics type jersey over here, volleyball jerseys that you see there. Take a lot of pride in providing best in class uniforms,
Yes.
but we have options within that.
That's right.
For instance, you could go with more of a t-shirt jersey option if you're trying to keep costs down. If it's important for you to put your church name on the jersey, we have customizable jerseys that you could purchase from us, same type material, but we print those on demand for you. So we really have lots of options out there, and the quality and designs are they don't take a back seat to anyone.
No.
So yeah.
They don't. They're awesome. So thanks for sharing that. We're wrapping this up here. I hope that you found this overtime valuable. We value what you are wanting to do and supporting you. My last question, how do I start this? Where do I begin? I'm interested. I'm ready to go. What do I do?
So it's upward.org/church leaders.
Upward.org/church-leaders.
Okay,
I don't know
One more
why.
time.
Upward.org/church-leaders. Schedule your call. Tell them Travis sent you. We want to.
Yeah, so basically you go to the website, let us know that you want to have a chat,
Mhm.
and then we'll do a needs analysis with you, try to understand what is what you're looking for as a
Yeah.
church. We'll only present things to you that looks like it'll be a good fit for you. You'll be able to take a proposal to other church staff if you need to, and we'd love to partner with you. We more and more churches are doing Upward all the time. 230 or so churches each of the last 2 years have signed on. Your church could be the next one, and we would love to have you.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Travis.
It's fun.
You guys have a great afternoon. See ya. Bye.